Hello everybody. Okay, so it's radish sowing time, and I'm just going to give you another little kind of comprehensive why I grow radish and how I grow radish and when I grow radish, because the one that I did on beetroot was actually quite popular. I had quite nice comments actually. So radish, it's an interesting veg. You know, I talked about on my beetroot video, I talked to you about my rating system that I do for all of my veg, which considers quite a lot of different factors. And I'm just going to remind you again what they are. The main thing is, what does it taste like? Is this veg tasty? The second thing is it expensive to buy the veg? How big is its harvests? When is its harvests? So I want things spread out over the year. When is its harvest period? That's the harvest, etc. And can I buy this organically? And if I can't, how much is it sprayed? So those are my criteria for whether I grow a veg or not. So let's talk about radish then. Radish for me score pretty well in my whole criteria system. They're pretty tasty, and more importantly for me, if they're grown at the right time, you have this kind of crispiness, and this freshness that's really important, and that is mainly in the cooler months. And I like to have that crisp, fresh taste. They're pretty healthy. Actually, the leaves are healthier than the roots, I would say. They're quite expensive to buy. I mean, you can get little packets of about, I don't know, sometimes 8 radish, and they're quite expensive. They're very quick to grow. You can have them over quite a long season, and they're quite difficult, I find, to buy them organically. So I think growing them is a really good idea. They can grow they're very flexible. They grow in all different containers. They can grow in the ground. They can grow under grow lights. They can be interplanted. So it's all a bonus in my opinion. So I find that if you grow radish at the right time, it germinates really quickly, and it puts on a lot of leaf growth. The roots will develop within a few weeks, so that's really excellent as well. And if you leave them unharvested, you can continue to harvest the leaves. And even when they go to seed, those little seed pods are really delicious as well in radish. But if you grow them too late in the year, what I find definitely kind of after mid-September, I find they don't have enough sun to develop roots in winter. So that's when I stop growing them as well. I've tried to grow radish all year round, but over the years, I've really changed my approach to growing radishes. I find that radish grown in the summer, they are really hard to grow, so I don't grow them in the summer. I don't get them any successful roots in the summer. I find that they're really difficult to keep watered. They grow very fast, and then they get really kind of spicy, and they lose their crispness as well. So I don't bother growing radish in the summer. Because in the summer, really, there's no shortage of kind of crispy vegetables. There's little cucumbers. You can grow cucamelons if you want as well. There's lots and lots of crispy things to eat in the summer. A couple of winters ago, I tried growing radish in the winter, and I had some grow lights in a grow tent that I wanted to just try and see if I could get some radish growing, and they were really successful. So if you're a real radish lover and you want to grow them all year round, you can actually grow them in the winter under grow lights. So I'm going to talk to you about my first couple of successions of how I grow radish. I think that these are kind of the best sowing dates for me, and they work really well. So first of all, I sow all of my radish in modules, usually 3 or 4 seeds per cell. It depends on the time of year, and then they're planted out after about 3 to 4 weeks. Again, that is dependent on the time of year. So my first batch of radish is always sown in early January, which is what I am doing now because it's Roots Day on the moon phase calendar. What I usually do is, if I have a big module, a big tray of modules, I'll kind of do 2/3 of them radish, and then I might do 1/3 of them turnips or some white beetroot and do it that way. And these radish, these ones here, they'll be growing in low light levels. So I'm going to only sow 3 seeds per module. Normally later on, I do 4 to 5 seeds per module because I multi-sow. But because of the light levels, I cut my seeds down. They're then going to be germinated in the house here inside. I've got grow lights, so I can put them under grow lights, and they'll probably go under there depending on how fast they germinate. Maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks. It's all dependent on how fast they germinate. And then these plants get planted out in late January, and that's how it works. I find that at this time of year, they do really well planted under cover, so either in a greenhouse, or if you've got a polytunnel, they do really well. They'll do well in a cold frame as well, or if you've got some kind of setup with like a polythene cover, they do really good as well. This time of year, so if you're going to sow now, radish has a tendency to put on a lot of leaf. The leaves are huge at this time of year. Let me just put one more here. So you need to give them space. If you're going to interplant, and radish are really good to interplant in between lettuce or spinach or whatever, make sure that you give it space, and it won't, and the big leaves won't kind of obstruct all the other plants that you've got growing with them. And also, forget the whole idea that you read in books that that radish are going to be ready after 30 to 40 days. Not at this time of year, they're not. It's going to be more like, I would say, 70 or 80 days after sowing. So they will be ready sometime in kind of like mid-March, these radish here. So like I said, I sow my first batch. Hang on. Oop, it's getting stuck on my finger. I sow my first batch early January, February time. Then my second in late January, February time. I don't sow too many because, like I said, they will take up quite a lot of space with the leaves while they grow. And my radish, I usually interplant with something else. So I'll have some lettuce or some spinach or whatever I've got in my beds. And I just make sure that I just keep harvesting both of those crops every week, and then I have enough space for them all. The reason why where'd that go? The reason why I sow in modules, it's for a few reasons. Okay, so the first reason is they're less exposed to kind of pests, especially flea beetle. I do have a problem with flea beetle, and I find that it's becoming a lot more prominent, flea beetle is. The second thing is I can grow a lot of radish in a very small space. So I can get like a 40 cell tray, and it'll hold like, 150, 160 plants in it, and it saves me a lot of ground. So that's the second reason why I do it. The third is I can start radish much earlier in the season, which I'm doing now. I can germinate them, and then they can grow on under grow lights or on a sunny windowsill as well for a couple of weeks, and then I can move them outside into my greenhouse if I want to, and then I can plant them out. So that's the next reason. The next reason is that interplanting is much more successful, I find, with planting with modules, because the plants are harvested kind of long before they interfere with the interplant as well, because you've got them already growing in the module and they're already kind of developed to a certain extent. The other thing is that radishes need consistent watering. So if your radish doesn't work, it probably means that you're not consistently watering them. And by putting them in modules, it's so much easier for me to do, you know, especially if I've got the trays here at home. I can consistently water them. So I'm sowing now, whoops, I hope I didn't drop that, like I said, 3 seeds at this year. And I'm hoping that 3 radish will come up. I could have sowed 4, but I don't even mind if I just get 2 radish. So if you want 3 seeds to definitely come up, 3 seedlings, then you need to sow 4, maybe even 5 seeds actually. And then I want to at least have 3 seedlings in there. And like I said, I'm going, or 2. And if you do sow 4 seeds or 5 seeds, and you get 3 to 4 seeds germinating, you leave them as that. If you get more, then you can drop them down and just pull the little seedlings out, which is fine. The number of seeds depends on the time of year. So when you sow really early like now, reduce the number of seedlings, let's say. And if you're going to sow quite late when the light levels and nutrients are lower, again, reduce the number of seedlings that you've got multi-sown in here. I sow seeds about 1 centimetre deep, which I'm just doing now. I'm just pushing them down into the compost, and I might give them a little sprinkle of water. This compost is actually already pre-moistened. And then once the plant leaves start to cover the compost in these little modules, I will give more water, and then I might even switch to bottom watering underneath. I've got them in trays here, and I water from the bottom. And then that's when they're growing really, really strongly. And that's it. I have 24 cells here with 3 seedlings per cell, let's hope. And the variety I've said before that I'd like this time of year is Cherry Belle. Cherry Belle and Scarlet Globe are kind of the best varieties I find for this time of year. They're absolutely excellent. And yeah, that's why I grow radish. Let me just finish this. So I hope you like radishes. They're so delicious. I mean, they're so different to the ones that you're going to get in supermarkets, that's for sure. You know, they can be they're really hit and miss. That's it. So I'm going to put some labels on these, and then they're going to go under my grow lights. I hope you're growing radish. I'll see you later.